Hi guys, I'm Eileen. Today, I want to talk about the potential issues that come with owning or wearing expensive designer pieces. In the context, they might attract too much unwanted attention. And I want to start off the video by asking you guys, do you feel uncomfortable or conscious that what you wear might make too much of a statement? For example, displaying a lot of designer logos in one outfit, or displaying very eye-catching elements such as a lot of diamonds or precious metals. Do you feel safe, or does it make you feel a bit nervous or exposed? I'm really interested to know because I know there have been some news about people being targeted for wearing certain watches, displaying certain designer logos, or carrying certain luxury handbags. I remember I used to feel quite uncomfortable wearing the Hermes necklace in rose gold. I still think it's really beautiful, but because it's such a substantial piece, I feel like it was standing out a bit too much for my liking. The pendant is made of solid gold, so it feels like I was wearing a little mini gold bar on my chest. I'm not sure if I was being too sensitive or vigilant, but it felt like people would notice my necklace first before me, to the point it was starting to feel like a bit of a burden to wear. So last year I decided to let it go. And since then I've been mainly wearing this Van Cleef & Arpels necklace in rose gold. I love the sweet Alhambra pendant because it's really dainty and subtle and it doesn't look out of place. Some of you know I used to have a small collection of luxury bracelets, including this Hermes CDC bracelet in rose gold, which I still own and love. I also used to have the Cartier Love bracelet and the Cartier Just Unclued bracelet. At one point, I tried to stack them all together, but it was too loud for me. And to be completely honest, on the few occasions when I did wear all three pieces together, I was quite worried that I would get noticed for the wrong reason. I know some people have a much bigger stack and they enjoy them, but for me, I actually felt quite uncomfortable to wear all three pieces together, especially in public. The interesting thing is though, even though I don't really enjoy wearing statement necklaces, I still love my statement earrings. For example, I really like these Van Cleef vintage Alhambra earrings, but for the most part, I like to keep my jewelry more minimal now. So essentially, the definition of too much or too loud can really vary for every person. So it's really up to the individual to decide what they are comfortable with. But I think it never hurts to be more aware of your surroundings and make sure you're not imposing too much risk on yourself. In the last 2 years, I've become more conscious about displaying too much logo, especially when it comes to my clothes. For example, this Louis Vuitton coat looks absolutely stunning, but I can't see myself wearing it without feeling very conscious because the monogram is so prominent. I'm sure the quality is amazing, but I personally prefer something a bit more low-key, such as this Max Mara coat. I just think when something is simple and understated, it never looks outdated because it will never go out of fashion. I'm not sure if you will agree, but I think designer ready-to-wear pieces tend to attract more attention, especially if the logo is quite recognizable. From my personal observation anyway, most luxury lovers are more willing to spend on a designer handbag rather than a designer t-shirt or a jumper, especially if they cost the same. In fact, I think people tend to only move on to luxury clothes after they have a very comprehensive collection of handbags and jewelry. I mean, it's not uncommon to see people in t-shirts from the high street brands carrying a Chanel handbag, but you will not see a lot of people wearing Chanel jackets carrying a handbag from the high street brand. So when someone wears a t-shirt that costs £600, it gets translated into that person's spending power, even though that might not always be the true reflection. Next, I want to touch on the safety issues in our homes when we have a luxury collection. In this area of social media, many of us share a lot of things on the internet, and in the context of luxury fashion, we're basically telling everyone about what we own and what we have in the house. So in a way, we are putting ourselves in quite a vulnerable position. This is why I always talk about insurance. Insurance is something I hope I will never need, but just knowing I have that protection helps me sleep better in the night. However, I recognize this is something I wouldn't have to pay if I didn't have a luxury collection. So I think it's really important to factor in the insurance costs and other miscellaneous costs when purchasing anything. Many of you know I've embraced luxury minimalism, so I don't really recommend having excessive collection of anything, especially if we don't use them a lot and they're just mainly on display, because if you think about it, the more we have, the more we have to worry about. I know this is something I shouldn't concern myself with, but sometimes when I watch videos where bloggers have a massive collection of designer handbags or a lot of expensive jewelry pieces, I can't help but wonder, will they feel comfortable leaving the house for an extended period of time, such as for traveling, moving abroad, or evacuating the house for emergency? Even if all these items are fully insured for, I think I would still feel quite nervous about leaving them unattended. It's absolutely okay to enjoy luxury items, but you might not want to push yourself to the extent where your physical possessions start giving you anxiety. Personally, I've sold many luxury items from my own collection. I'm usually quite decisive when it comes to selling the pieces I've not been reaching for. That way, I can reduce my liability, risk, and anxiety. So far, I've not had any seller's remorse. If anything, I realized as much as I enjoy the pieces I still have, I don't have much emotional attachment to them. Now, I certainly don't wish on losing them because of my own carelessness, but if one day life happens and I have to sell them on, I think I'll be quite okay with that. Another potential issue with owning expensive items has a bit to do with the inconvenience we might impose on ourselves. I mean, have you ever had that experience where you carry a Chanel handbag, especially when it's brand new, on a day out, but you spend a lot of your attention trying to care for the bag instead of enjoying the day? For example, you might park your car in a closer but more expensive location because you don't want to get caught in the rain, or you might be super aware all day because you don't want anyone to knock into your bag or scratch the leather. I think when something costs a bit more, we naturally become more protective anyway. So it's really important to find the right balance where you can enjoy your beautiful things without them restricting your activities. For example, going for the more durable materials for your handbags or smaller sizes, just so you can keep your bag closer to your body and it's not in anyone's way, especially if you don't carry a lot anyway. You can also consider going for colors which are easier to care for, just so you don't have to constantly worry about color transfer. On that note, I just want to say, if you're planning to buy any luxury items, do watch luxury reviews with a pinch of salt. Because at the end of the day, no one knows your lifestyle better than yourself. For example, I love my Hermes Birkin 25 and I raved about it a lot in my review video. However, about 6 months ago, a subscriber got in touch with me. She said she loved the Birkin 25, but she wasn't sure if she should buy it because she used public transport a lot, so she didn't feel very comfortable carrying a tote bag with an open top, especially when she couldn't be hands-free either. I think those are some very valid points for not getting the Birkin 25. In fact, now that I think about it, I never really carry my Birkin 25 when I travel to places where I have to rely on public transport, or if I'm quite unfamiliar with the destinations I'm traveling to. So certainly do your due diligence, but your preferences and your needs should always be the top priority when making purchases, designer or not. When an item fits in your lifestyle, that's when you'll truly enjoy it. So those are the potential issues or inconvenience that come with owning expensive designer pieces. Now, this video is not meant to put anyone off buying luxury items, but for me, I feel like I'm now able to look at shopping from a different angle, and it helps me to enjoy luxury items and other discretionary things more responsibly. I've always said it's perfectly okay to splurge on beautiful things when the time is right, but at least for me, too much of anything can start to feel like a burden, and I certainly don't want to stress myself out using my hard earned money. Please share with me if you prefer low-key designs or having a smaller luxury collection, or do you feel completely comfortable wearing designer logos from head to toe? So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. I will see you in my next one. Have a nice day.